Couple of things to start off with. Next week is committee. Week after 15th is navigational training night, and then the 22nd the car trial up at Ingleton. Jim, just a reminder, 29th, don't forget. 29th. Yeah, you're on. 5th of September, Morris has put Duff information in Spotlight, and the first of the navigational scatters will be starting from Darwin Services, not from here. So
When's that? When is it?
5th of September.
So I get paid to start for Waddington then.
So it's good to see so many people here again tonight. I can only assume it's because we've got 2 guests. John, Clive, would you like to come and join us? For those who don't know, John Cope, been rallying for how long?
We were talking about this tonight. 1979 I started. First event was the Towers Lake Trophy Rally in a Mark II, and finished 19th. So, long time ago.
And Clive Molyneux.
Started rallying in probably the early 80s, co-driving on night rallies. Then stopped for a period and then restarted again in earnest.
That's not true. You started rallying a long while before that.
Did I? Competing?
Not competing.
Oh right. I've been involved in rallying since I was in my teens, with Mull and various other events. But yeah, started competing early 80s, did a few night rallies with a local guy from Blackburn, then packed in, then started again in 1990 in earnest, and been doing ever
We'll come
since.
on to that.
Okay.
We'll come back onto that later.
No worries.
So, both started in road rallying. Johnny, you said 79 in a
Mark
an
II,
Escort.
right?
Was that the same car you had for a while?
I don't know how long I had it actually. Probably only about 3 years, maybe. Started life as a 1300, grassroots as a lot of people start, obviously, and I slowly got. I say slowly. Slowly got better, and then swapped it for another Mark II and progressed to a 1600, and again started doing more and more road rallies. I was doing stupid amounts of road rallying at one time. I started to do, I don't know, I bet I was doing between 12 and 18 rallies a year, and I say hone me talent, if you want to call it a talent. Hone me talent then, and I learned a lot.
So you kept road rallying right up till 87?
Right up to the death, yeah. Yeah, I did one of the last road rallies on target timing, Holrus Trophy Rally, and we were leading at petrol, and I caught this bloke in a Mark 1 Escort. I'll never forget this. Caught this bloke in a Mark 1 Escort, and I got within about 50 yards of him. He went round this 90 right, came round the 90 right, and this car's on its side, covered the road completely. I had nowhere to go. Hit him, and he got out like a tank commander. And I was ranting and raving at him because, like I said, I could see the rally slipping away. I think we ended up finishing third. But yeah, that was That was the last road rally I did on target time. Then that was in December, I think, of '87, down in Wales.
Ah.
So,
Well, before we go on to stage rallying,
aye.
so Clive, you started in road rallying. So, any stories on that?
No,
Any success?
no success whatsoever.
So who were you competing with?
Competing with a guy from Blackburn, a guy called Phil Benson in a Mark 1 Ford Escort. In a team from was it called Station Garage, Tez? I think it was Station Garage.
Spanish schools, weren't
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
McCarthy brothers, were it?
That's right. Yeah. So pretty unspectacular really. We had some interesting outings with Phil. I remember one event. I think he started at Burton Services, and I was never happy with the position of the seat. I weren't being fussy or anything. It just felt too low and whatever. So I went up to the Station Garage on Saturday afternoon before we set off on the rally, and I said, look, can we reposition this seat, Phil? So we got it all set up, and I said, right, but if it goes in there, that's spot on that. So he said, right, you clear off, I'll pick you up at 7 o'clock or whatever. So he welded the brackets in, put the seat in, turned up for me at whatever time, 7 o'clock at night, and I got in the car, and it was literally that far off the dashboard, the seat, and I could only just get in. I was like, in the bloody. So what have you done? And he'd actually, I think what he'd done, he got the front and back rails mixed up, and he mounted the back of the seat on the front rails. Disaster. Anyhow, we're going up to Burton Services up the M6. I've got my face on the windscreen like this, and belts on full adjustment to sort of get the things on. And the car started making an exhaust noise, a blowing noise. So I looked under the bonnet and we pulled up on the hard shoulder, and the manifold was all coming off. And it was a pretty easy fix, to be honest. And Phil wasn't that clued up about cars or whatever. Anyway, I told him it was knackered and we should retire on the spot before we even got to the start. I'll be honest with you, there's no way I could have done that rally with my chin on the dashboard. So we came off at the next junction and went home and readjusted the seat for the next rally. Yeah. So yeah, I rallied with Phil for a couple of years, and then he moved on. The car dropped a bit probably, and that was the end of that. Yeah.
So that was the end of your road rallying, was it?
It was, yeah. Yeah, I don't think I did any more road rallies with anyone, to be honest.
Yeah, you did one with Nigel, didn't you? The Pendle one, when you had to get your licence.
Oh, I did, sorry, Nigel. I did. I did one more when I
How can you
needed...
forget Nigel?
I needed to get an international licence, and I hadn't got enough signatures, so Nick very kindly stepped in, and we did a night rally.
So the funny thing about that is we had the scrutineer signing on and said, what happens now to the street? I was to start.
Yeah.
Well, no, you just hang around. So I dropped you off, I took my girlfriend, went to Checo's, had a meal, and then came back again later on. So we finished second or third, didn't we? So
Did quite well, yeah, I can't remember what we finished, yeah.
That's light, but it's not.
Yeah, usually the wrong one. So John, I know in all them road rallies you must have had a few successes.
I didn't win any road rallies. I don't think I won any single. I came close to winning a lot of rallies.
We're not going to mention them.
No, not yet. Not the M word. But like I say, I don't ever remember winning a road rally. I've done loads of rallies on both this side of the border and Yorkshire. I had a Yorkshire co-driver for a long time, and like I said, I haven't won anything, but I've come close. There was one particular rally, Lark Speed Trophy rally. I think it was about '85, and it was the same weekend as my brother getting married, and he was getting married in Wales. I put the entry in, and we were first reserve, and like I say, I was all the way down in Wales, and it started on the A1. And I said to our kid after after the meal. I said, right, I'm off. And he says, where are you going? I said, going to a rally. He says, well, are you not staying? I said, no. He said, well, what, you know, he started talking about it. He says, what number are you? I said, I'm first reserve. So he says, all right, so you're going to abandon us and like I say, go and do this rally instead of staying here. I said, yep, I'm off. Can I borrow your car? So I borrowed his car, drove all the way from there up to, like I said, to the start, and we ended up running car 1 because Graham Blackburn didn't turn out, and we finished 3rd overall that night. So it was a long haul, but it was well worth it. Like, but yeah, he wasn't impressed.
Has he got over it?
I should hope so.
Just about. So, well, if neither of you have ever won a road rally, we might as well stop here now. Then. Move on. You're obviously nobody's.
No.
So where do we go from there then?
Useless.
Stage rallies. I started doing stage rallies before road rallies stopped. I don't know why. I got sort of roped into them by a guy called Chris Cullen. I don't know, some of you may know Chris. He did a lot of international rallies, and like I say, Chris started getting me involved in doing stage rallies, and we, like I say, using the same car, and did single venues, quite rough stuff up at like Northcotes and places like that. Again, limited success. I get into the top 10 of a stage rally. I was doing alright, like, but nothing to write home about. And then eventually I sold the Escort and started to get a bit more serious about it and bought an Escort Cosworth. And in hindsight, it was the wrong car to buy. It looked the part, but it wasn't the part. And ended up spending a load of money on it, like you do. And but I did about 3 seasons in that, and sort of swapped it from what was a Group N car into a Clubman Group A car. And we did win the Group N championship in it, the Years Motor and Used Championship, whatever it was then. But it, like I said, the car wasn't up to it really. So eventually I flogged that and bought what was my dream car, which was a proper Group A Escort, which was built by Dennis Osborne. And I love the car, absolutely fantastic bit of kit. I'd thrown everything that I had into it, and it rewarded me with some good results. They weren't an easy car to run, they were quite expensive to run, but it was a good thing. I thoroughly enjoyed driving it, and it was only the progression of the world cars coming along that sort of prompted me to think about buying a world car. And when the chance came, through one way or another, work and what have you, work gave me a lot of money towards it. I hacked the Escort in and bought a Subaru world car, and those that you know me, I've had it ever since, and I've owned it for now 14 years, and I still say the car's quicker than me. It's a brilliant thing to drive when it's working 100%. Thoroughly enjoyable thing to drive, and I can't see me getting rid of it now, to be honest.
Didn't you have a Sierra in there as well, somewhere?
Yeah, I did have a Sierra. I built a Sierra between the Escorts, and I campaigned that for a good 3 years, but the Sierra got shortened by 3 feet.
I remember that.
Did the Yellow Brick Road Rally and hit a dike at 70 mile an hour, and like I say, it shortened one side. When you looked at the car from the front, it didn't look too bad until you looked inside, and there was a crease from the bulkhead right the way through past us to onto the boot floor. To the boot floor, it was totally wrecked. So we ended up reshelling that in 7 days, because I was second overall in the tarmac championship at that point in time, when Pete Doughty and people like that were in the championship, and we again I've always said ever since that I'll never do another championship again, because you end up chasing points, and that's what it becomes. You don't enjoy your rallying anymore. It's all about the points. And eventually, we went out to Ireland after reshelling it in 7 days and went off again. And that was the end of basically. We ended up 5th in the championship that year. But like I say, there was so much that could have happened. We could have been right up there. So like I say, that's when I sold the Sierra then and bought the Escort, the Cosy. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I just remember it on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Orbit Road.
Yeah.
It was a mess of that.
It was.
So Clive, you came back into stage rallying.
Yep. Yeah, I'd spent a lot of time servicing for Nigel, and then got involved with Rallyport through Cyril Bolton and Ginger, and did quite a lot of work with them servicing for Cyril. And then one of the directors from Pressport's son, Nick Hutchinson, decided to have a go at rallying, and he asked if I'd sit in with him, which I did, and we did the Vauxhall Nova Challenge, GSR Challenge. I think that was in 1990. And we did that for probably 4 years, up to 94 and 95, and we did quite well. We had some really good results. Yeah, good rallying. Yeah,
And a few good people came out of that, didn't it?
they did. Yeah.
Challenge.
Yeah,
It was Dave Weston and
yeah. There was some.
Simon
There
Chapman
was,
do that. I'm sure, no, Simon didn't do it.
no,
He did,
there
he
was,
did.
I can't remember the guys' names now, but there was some
Dave
really
Charlton.
quick. Dave Charlton, yeah, great boy, yeah.
Didn't you win your class in the Open Championship?
We did, yeah, we won the A6 class, yeah. Can't remember what year though, unfortunately. I've got a pot in the garage somewhere, deep away.
Like 93, I think, wasn't it?
That's where they all go.
Yeah, yeah.
Was Dave Metcalf involved in that then, or?
Dave Metcalf was driving a Nova at the time, yeah, and he was always around. Him and Ian were always around for tuition. They had Vauxhall days down at Millbrook where Dave would sit in with the drivers and give them some tuition. Ian would give you co-driving tips and what have you. So yeah, they were always
You'd have
part
been
of it.
able to understand it.
I know, it was great. Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Never got to them dizzy eyes. I always had to pay to have tuition.
Oh, you had to pay in Vauxhall days, believe me.
One
Somebody
way or
did.
another.
So you had fair success. Did you win GSI Challenge?
We never actually won the challenge. No, I think the best we did I think we came third in it one year. But we won the Open class in the British Championship. Yeah. Good
So
driver,
you-
Nick. Really
So
good
you
driver.
did the GSI Challenge and you did the British Championship.
It
as
was
well?
the GSR Challenge was part of the British Rally Championship. It took in nearly all the rounds, if not all the rounds.
Because there was a time when he did national rounds, wasn't there? I only know because I did one with Dave Charlton, and that was your national.
Yeah, that was probably before I started doing it then, because I'm pretty sure the first ones. I'm pretty sure the first ones we did were all what they call internationals then, like the Welsh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
You went, was
So-
it the same year you went to Ypres?
Yeah, we did in '92. That was part of the GSR Challenge, the Ypres Rally. Yeah, it's another good event. Yeah, managed to roll it on the practice stage, which was interesting. Kept Ginger and Cyril busy for a couple of days. Yeah.
So where do you go from there then? You've already got the dizzy heights. You've
Well,
won
Nick.
your classic British Championship.
Yeah, well, I moved up a level and started co-driving for Nigel then. No, Nick retired, or yeah, he did. He retired, and then Nigel. I think the first event I did with you, the RAC, wasn't it? In '95, was it? '94,
Yeah, I had no co-driver, I had no money, and a guy came and offered me £1,000 to navigate for me, which I could have done with. And me and my then girlfriend Maureen went for tea with him and decided if we probably ended up thumping him by him at first day. And I rang up Alan Whittaker who recommended him. He said, yeah, I'd probably end up thumping him as well. So, I know what about that. So I asked Clive, we had no money, did we, at all that year,
No.
do you remember? But I'd rather do it with somebody I wanted to do it with no money than another grand. And then if somebody thought, I think we brought the dip in or something like
Mm.
that. Second day or something
Yeah.
like that. But yeah.
Yeah, so I sat in with Nigel for a good number of years, didn't
Yeah.
I? Like for, I don't know, 10 years probably, maybe more. Yeah. Then went into sort of semi-retirement after an accident in Mallorca, and then Kopi rang me up and
Oh, you did some
oh,
rounds
no,
with
sorry.
Danny, haven't you, as well?
yeah, I did one with Dan. I did the it was the Poker Stars, was it Dan? Yeah. And then I did the Manx National with you
Yeah.
in 2007.
You had a few outings in was it a Porsche?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the...
We're not mentioning that.
You can do.
Is that like mentioning more?
It was. I got a phone call. Can't remember what year it was, but it's irrelevant. I was at work and I got this. I got this phone call from Andy Marchbank, and he said, "Clive, do you fancy navigating for a bloke in he had a Mitsubishi at the time, called Neil Gatt?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, is he any good?" I'd never heard of the guy, so well, yeah, get him to ring us. Anyway, Neil Gatt rang me. And he said, right, he was dead down to earth, great bloke. He bit of history about Neil. He'd had a chain of restaurants called the Tasker, which he'd sold in, I think it was 2000, not sure, but he'd sold these restaurants and made millions and decided to go out and spend his millions on what he enjoyed doing, which was motorsport. So I got this phone call off Neil, and he phone went at work and he said, right, Clive Molyneux, it's Neil Gatt, do you fancy doing the Jim Clark rally with us? I said, yeah, all right, yeah. He said, right, I live in Cheshire, you live in Lancashire. He said, can you land an helicopter in your back garden? And at the time I lived in a terraced house in Great Harlem, so no, you can't, but I'll find somewhere where you can. Yeah, and true to his word, he appeared in this this Bell Jet Ranger helicopter, picked us up, flew us up, did the Jim Clark rally, flew us back, and I rallied with Neil for a couple of years probably, and I think on only one occasion we drove to a rally. We either flew there in his jet or went in his helicopter. And when we drove there, it was in some sort of Ferrari, something. Which, yeah. So yeah, that was interesting. And then I got Neil Gatt then bought RED, and when he bought RED, one of the employees at RED was Andy Marchbank. So he had an employed co-driver, so it made sense that he used Andy instead of me, which was fine. And then things moved on. I got another phone call off him a couple of years later saying, Clive, Neil Gatt, do you fancy doing a rally in Mallorca with me? He says, we don't need an hotel, we'll stop on my boat. So yeah, all right, yeah. So off we went to Mallorca, and he had this 3-litre, 3-point-something litre 4-wheel drive Porsche, and it was an absolute monster of a thing. Big do's and little do's. We got on the very last stage of the rally, and he drove it off the edge of a cliff. We dropped. We went through a little wall about that high, which knocked all the lights out at the front, pitch black, and it just went into this black void. And I thought, that's it, this is it. And he was waiting for the bang. Not yet. Waiting for the bang, not yet. Bloody hell, this is going down a long way. And then bang, 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 bang. And it eventually stopped. It was a sequence of hairpin bends going down a road, and it ended up on the next bit of road down, on its roof. And it was sort of hanging there upside down. I said to Neil, are you all right? He said, yeah, I think so. I said, knock the ignition off. So we're upside down, and what we hadn't realised is the impact had actually turned the ignition off. The master switch had turned itself off. So he turned it back on, and there was an instant jet of fuel just came out the front of the car and drenched us, and everything's red hot, and I thought, God, this is it. Anyhow, turned it off, and luckily it didn't set on fire, and we got out, and I was there. That put me off rallying for a couple of years actually. That, so, yeah, not a good experience that one, but hey ho. Yeah.
Well, all right, your turn, John. Top that one. We've already talked about your Sierra, and that was bad enough.
No, there ain't any worse ones than that for me. I've been really lucky, to be fair.
Skill.
People say you don't drive hard enough if you don't crash. I think it adds a bit of insult to injury if you crash, because that just put me out of rallying for so much longer. So I tend to play the long game when it comes to rallying. I'm not the fastest, but ultimately I'll be there at the finish. And I've shown over the years I've shown a decent bit of pace. So I think that's probably why I haven't won that particular event that you've been talking about.
I've mentioned it.
I've heard it come from your lips already tonight.
Not in your way.
But like I say, that's the way that I play my rallying, because I can't afford big bills. I'd love to have a really, really good go at something and not be worried about it, but it's just not realistic for me.
It's all right. I said we won't talk about it, but we're going to have to.
I know.
So how many times have you done one now?
26, I think.
And how many times have you been up there?
106. Yeah, a lot.
No, I mean for the rally.
For the rally.
Have you competed every time you've been up, or have you been up a few times without?
There's only a couple of years that I've missed. That was when I was building a car, or obviously they had the sabbatical in between the stage rally and the road rally, and so yeah, there have been a couple of years that I've missed, but there's not been many at all. It's a place over the years that it really engulfs you. You just want to go back and try and have another go and have another go. I've been very fortunate to get some of the results that I did, but the one result's always eluded me, and whether that will ever happen now, I don't know. I sincerely doubt, sadly, but it's just the way that things have gone. I finished second 4 times up there, third again, something like 3 or 4 times. I think I've got one of the best finishing records, certainly since 2000, than anybody else up there, and that's, like I say, that's probably because I play the long game. I have had accidents up there, as everybody has, because it is a bit of a, it can bite you, can't it? You know full well it can bite you. When you're least expecting it as well. At the slowest corner, I've gone off twice on one of the slowest corners on the island. But that's, like I say, that's what can happen.
Which one's that?
Not telling you where it is. So yeah, Mo for me has always been, I've always been the Nearly man. So
You still enjoying going up though?
latterly, no. I decided that I was going to take a year out this year, ironically. I wanted to go, I said that I need to rekindle my enthusiasm for the place, and I was going to take a year out, and I'm actually going to go to France. It's something that I've never done any European rallies at all, and it's something that I said I wanted to do before I finish rallying. So I'm off to France in September. Just something different. I just fancy, like I said, doing something different before I stop. Now, whether I'll get the enthusiasm back to go next year, I really don't know. But at this point in time, I'm not really bothered. It seems to have just, I don't know, bit sad really.
So Clive, well, you've probably been to most of them, haven't you?
I think I missed about the first 4, and then I've been to all since then. Yeah, long history there.
And how many have you run? That's Clark.
Clerk of the course for 10 of them from 2000 to 2009. Yeah.
And then, but obviously before that,
He's done everything, though, hasn't he? You think about it, he's done everything.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't driven, I suppose.
No.
Thank
no.
God.
yet.
That would cause problems. Yeah, before that I was assistant clerk to Nigel, who I think you were clerk for 8 years or something like that, Nick, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, had an involvement for a long time, yeah.
And now, is it only the last couple of years you managed to compete?
When did we first do it, John? It was 3 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
2012. Yeah. Yeah, 2012 was the first time I've done mull with John, yeah. Which was great, finished third. Yeah. It seems to coincide with me getting in with John is when his enthusiasm has disappeared for mull, which is we'll get it back.
Yeah. There's no answer to that, is there? So, I guess you've probably lived and breathed mull. What does it mean to you?
Well, when I was involved, it was almost a full-time job. You're virtually planning the next rally before you're planning 2008, before 2007 is taking place. You're thinking of different routes. You're looking at different options. So, yeah, I mean, it took up a hell of a, well, as you know, it takes up a hell of a lot of time. So it's virtually, you could make it a full-time job. You could make it a full-time job running Clark in the Clitheroe. So yeah, the sort of planning side of it, I loved the build up to it, doing the routes, doing the timings, working everything out. What if this happens? What's the fallback position for this? What do we do if this happens? I absolutely loved all that. The weekend of the rally itself was the worst weekend of the year. It is so stressful, as I'm sure you know. And you just breathe a massive sigh of relief on Sunday night on Sunday morning when it's all over. But then you start on the next year. So yeah. But yeah, it was hard work but enjoyable. I did enjoy doing it. Yeah.
But to put all that effort in for all them years, it must have been something special. I mean, I know it was your dad's idea, and it all you grew up with it, really, I suppose. But
we had don't get me wrong, there wasn't just me doing the work. We had a committee of probably 15-20 active people who all did massive amounts of work to make it happen, and it was great to work with such a close-knit committee. We all got on really well. We all knew what our jobs were, and we all did them hopefully to the best of our abilities. And I think for years we put on a good event.
There's only one thing that tells, and that's when people keep coming back.
Well, yeah,
when it's full every year.
Exactly. Yeah, we were full and oversubscribed every year. So yeah, we were clearly doing something right, and we were lucky. But yeah, it got to a point where I was actually glad when we stopped doing it, because I'd become worn out. I was probably going to do it one more year. It would have carried on, and then I was going to stand down. Yeah. I'd probably had enough by then. And the way things worked out.
You probably must have run more than anybody else.
I am actually the longest standing clerk of the Clitheroe, as it's still been. Yeah.
Still will be for quite a while, I would suspect.
Well, forever, because it's no longer the Clitheroe, is it? Yeah, so it can't be wrong, that record. Yeah.
Was there any reason why you never wanted to go into the National Tarmac Championship, or was that your decision, or was it?
No, it was never my decision. It was always a committee decision, and we always felt that we were getting full entries. We wanted to. If we went into national championships, we'd have to give so many entries to the championship, and what we didn't want to do was upset the regular people who could come to Mull and support us year on year. And we didn't really need to be part of the championship. We were doing all right was a standalone event.
There was one year,
I
wasn't
went to make my pass at Manchester Airport. Colin Southfield and all that lot took 1 year only, I think. So it was for
it?
1 year.
Yeah, was
Yeah.
one. I
But I
thought
agree
it was.
with everything you say,
Yeah.
I didn't need it. And they started imposing stuff on us, but we don't do that really, so.
That must have been one of Nigel's cock-ups. I said that must have been one of your cock-ups.
What year was that? Can you remember?
I can't remember some
It was a long while ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think he brought anything to the event.
Probably not. No.
Right, I'm going to throw it open. No, Terry, you're not allowed to ask the first question.
You've all sat in the opposite seats.
I said no, you're not allowed to ask the first question.
You've all seen you navigating on the quick Melbourne with a newspaper in your hand, kissing your sides out. Well, I remember you doing Fluke. Have you any stories to tell about the opposite seat side of it?
Not really a lot of stories. Like I say, I've read a newspaper before today, and I think that's one of the most viewed bits of YouTube footage that I've got.
Yeah.
I enjoy it from time to time. I think it's a you get a greater understanding of what is involved. Obviously, when you're a driver, you're a lot more forgiving of a co-driver because you know what pressure is under. So I think it's a good idea that every driver should be a co-driver at some point in time. Like I said, I have read a newspaper before today. When things are going swimmingly, you can just sit back and relax, and that's just exactly what I did that day. But at the same time, there's a time to be serious as well, you know. And but I do think it's a good thing to do, and like I say, I quite enjoy it. It's, like I say, you see things from the other side of the fence, and it's, I don't know. There's a lot less pressure for me as a driver. There's a lot less pressure, even though it says only might be a single venue. There's a lot less pressure as a co-driver than what it is to be doing it as a driver. So it comes a little bit more naturally, I suppose, because you have been a driver, and you know, like I say, you've watched somebody else do it, and you just think, it's a double waste thing, you know. So I just, like I say, I can relax while I'm doing it, and I wouldn't like to do it all the time, and I'd only sit with a few people.
Would you sit with me?
What the fuck? I've seen you driving.
What was that? You wouldn't sit next to him in a road car?
Bad enough in a road car. Sorry, Clive.
I've forgotten to bring one thing up. You've done a bit of organising as well, haven't you, John?
Aye, yes, yeah. Again, it's another side of the, you know, it's another side of the fence. I've done Binbrook and Swinderby and helped out at Cadwell Park and all single venues. I've not done anything more than that. But again, it gives you a greater understanding on how rallies work. And it's a thankless task, as Clive said already. You know, I haven't clerked on a rally recently at all, and I'm sure now it's a hell of a sight harder than what it was when I did it. And to be fair, I don't think, whilst I've still got my licence to be able to be a clerk of the course, I don't think I want to put myself in that position anymore. I enjoyed it when I did it. There's nothing better than seeing that first car go off the start line at 9 o'clock or whatever time it is, and knowing that you set that stage up along with a lot of other people and a lot of help, and it runs on time, and you get a different type of buzz out of that. I did like it, but I think there's an inordinate amount of pressure now and hoops to jump through for organisers, and I really don't know how you do it, Chris.
Neither do I.
I think it takes a certain type of person, and like I say, I don't know whether I'm not the same person as what I was then.
To be fair, things are different, but I don't think that the well-run events now are really that much different to the well-run events back then. There are a few events that have had to really step up.
Do you think that though is because the same people from then are still running the events now? You know,
there were a lot of well-run events but there used to be some that weren't so good.
Mm-hmm.
But they've had to either step up to the mark or fall by the wayside.
But I did, like I say, I did enjoy it. Like I say, in my limited experiences, I'm only doing single venues. But what always gets you about being a clerk or being involved in running a rally is you realise how many people actually are prepared to put the work in, and there's very few people that are prepared to put the time and effort into it. So more and more gets loaded onto that small group of people. And Dave Reed said it just recently that he thinks that he's had enough, because like I say, there's just a certain amount of people that do the same work year on year on year, and he said that group of people becomes smaller and smaller and smaller, so you end up doing more and more work, and he says I've just lost the enjoyment out of it. And I think sadly that's the way that stage rallying's going, because there isn't the manpower there anymore.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
I do agree with this thing in the Isle of Man, though, that every competitor should bring a marshal, and I don't know for the life of me why the MSA haven't brought that in. I think that's got to happen. It's got to happen.
I think that's something that's down to the clubs.
Yeah.
If the clubs feel that they can do that, then they should do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, Nigel, I know you've been running a book on Facebook today about questions, so come on, your turn, mate.
Well, that doesn't answer the other half of that question. Have you ever sat in the sea?
I have. Yeah, I've driven on two events, courtesy of Nigel actually, in his one of his previous Mark IIs. It's not the current.
When you say previous, was that scrap?
No, when I got that through, no, it was still running. We did one. I think the first one we did was Clitheroe, was it? And then we did Flukebury. Yeah, I quite enjoyed it actually. But I mean,
bloody hell, that must have been a while ago. If it flew, right?
I think we were 11th quickest on the first stage as well, weren't we?
You did really well, but on the second one at Flukebury, I cocked up as a
I wasn't going to mention that.
Basically, he was out of the rally through my mistake. So it came to the last stage, and it was like 2 laps, and he came off. He's like, well, shall we do 3 or more? Because it's bloody batter now. Up to you, mate. And he came to split. He's like, let's run home. And he'd just gone down the estate road to do the correct route. He goes, bugger it, I should have done 3. Because that was the last stage he did, really. So,
Yeah.
Good laugh, though.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it, but I realised that we're sitting with guys like John and Nigel that I could never drive like they do, so my rallying finished after those 2 events. Yeah.
All road rallying, Holy Grail or not?
It's the future. It's got to be the future. Unless you want to go circuit racing around Anglesey or wherever. It's got its place. Circuit rallying's got its place. That's blatantly obvious for the amount of people that are doing it. Whether that's because there aren't that many options apart from that, I don't know. But I seem to think that will be your grassroots rallying going forward, whereas obviously closed road rallying in the UK, I think it's got to happen for the sport to survive in any sort of way. Let's be fair, in 20 years' time we'll all be driving electric cars anyway. So
What do you think then?
There's lots of talk in an electric car.
I'd like to think I think everybody likes to think it'll happen. I think there will be very few rallies in this country on closed roads. There'll be a lot of closed road events, but they won't be for rallying.
I mean, there's a lot of talk on the rally forum about that.
Or this one down in Essex, is it?
There's one that John Ingram's supposed to be.
Yes, in Cheshire. Yeah.
But
They can get the backing of the councils, they can get the backing of everybody, but ultimately, you're not coming past my house. you're public, that's what you've got to, that's what you're up against.
I mean, Dave Reaver, he was saying on the anvil the other week, wasn't he? He said, well, it won't happen this year on the
Yeah,
Northwest
Stages.
Perhaps next year.
Yeah. Yeah. We all like to think it'll happen, whether it does or not.
Well, it's a damn sight closer than it ever has been before.
Oh, yeah.
We've got the legislation.
Yeah. But I think there's like I said, there's an awful lot of other events that, like I said, will take precedence.
Let's face it, if Brian had taken that attitude, we'd have not been doing more, would we?
This is true.
So, let's keep positive about
All right.
it. Shall we have there's a lot of empty glasses.
Yeah.
15-minute beer break and then think of some questions. So, I believe you missed one of your stage rallying debuts out, Clive.
Did I?
With Terry on the Lakeland stage.
Oh, did I do? Sorry, Tez. Yeah.
Well, it was uneventful, really. It's that roundabout.
We did it was again when I needed to get signatures for an international licence. Tez very kindly.
You only need one set of signatures.
I needed quite a few. That's another story. But Tez asked me to sit in with him on the Lakeland stages, which
That's
I did.
now the Malcolm Wilson.
The Malcolm Wilson rally, yeah. And we had a bit of an off in Kiel
Black Shed, I think.
Black Shed, yeah, up round that area anyway. So the car went off the road, hit a big boulder on, I think it was your side.
driving?
No.
Passenger side.
But it ended up, the car was going down the road at literally 45 degrees, wasn't it, Tez? And Tez was driving it straight and the car was going down the road like that. So we got out of the stage, I think we changed the wheel, got out of the stage. And the next bit was service at the cattle market. So we're going down the M6, right, and Tez is in the middle lane. The car is literally going down the road at 45 degrees. Nothing dare come past us. There's a massive queue behind us. Come off the junction for the cattle market, and we're going round the roundabout. There's a bloke thumbing a lift at the top of the slip road, and Teddy's driving down round the round. It was such a weird angle going round the roundabout. I couldn't work out what was going on.
And he had his rucksack on.
He had his rucksack in front of him, and Ted clocks him and he says, "Watch this." I don't know how he did it, but he drove the car sideways at this bloke, and this bloke legged it, and he actually ran over his rucksack. And there's bloody steel cups and teapots flying all over the place. Anyhow, we got it back to service, and did we fix it, Tez, or did we retire? I can't remember.
Yeah, those lads who were service runners, they were not hot rodders, they were stock car lads, weren't they?
Ah, they were,
They
that's
tied
right.
the wheel, the bit of rope to do land rope, whatever they were, towing the car with or whatever, set off at 50 miles an hour and just pulled the wheels straight. Well, we carried on, didn't we? And, that was
Yeah.
How was that?
Black Shed.
The black spot?
Yeah.
And I believe you've got a set of pace notes for Zachary Lane as well.
No.
Mental pace notes.
Oh, mentally, yeah.
And it's all flat.
Depends who's driving.
Well, you told me it was flat anyway.
Oh, right. This is in your dad's Toyota Celica, is it? Yeah.
So between you, how many cars did you write off?
Me,
No,
So-
between you, I mean.
Well, Clive not, be about 5.
yeah, Tezzy's definitely the king of the write-offs. Yeah.
I don't know, you went up to Mull early days and your mum's going, let's have a go at that.
That was all fuck, by the way. Translated.
Yeah, I did. I virtually wrote my mum's car off on Mull. Yeah. Brought it back. I'd gone off the road and hit a wall. Did the wing, the door, the sill, the back panel, every panel down the driver's side actually, and took it up to Nigel's place to get it fixed before my mum found out. And I had a word with Tony, Nigel's brother, and he's looking. I haven't got time to fix that. Anyway, he eventually said, yeah, all right, you go and get the bits, I'll fix it. So I went to wherever it was, Southern Brothers, got a sill, got a door skin, got a wing, got an inner wing. But the biggest problem was the back panel was bashed in and we couldn't get it straight. Anyway, Ted ended up he cut the whole thing out, didn't he, with a jigsaw. Got a piece of Dexian shelving, cut a matching piece of that out, spot welded it in, filled it. Absolutely perfect. Well, it looked absolutely perfect, didn't it? She didn't find out.
You've not found out yet, has she now?
No.
Can I remind you that this is recorded? It will be on YouTube.
She's not got an internet connection yet.
She will have tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Okay. She'll not believe you. Yeah.
So were your motorsport heroes then?
Mine? Go on. It's got to be Colin McRae. Colin McRae.
Go on.
Tough one, that one. Don't know, really. Daniel Harper.
Is it right, yeah?
No, I don't
Nice.
know. Difficult one, that one.
He's talked you out a bit.
There's so many, isn't there? I don't know. Can't answer you. Sorry.
What would it be? What would you have wanted to do that you haven't done?
What would I like I said, going to France, so that's one of the things that I am going to do that I've always wanted to do. There's not many on the bucket list for rallying, really. I think I've done most of the things I wanted to do, apart from the obvious.
I didn't mention
Apart from
that.
the Grail.
Well, that'd be mine actually. Winning the Tour of Mull. That'd just about round things off nicely.
You look
Drive.
No, I've looked at. I mean, I've looked in envy when Dan Barrett's won it 2 or 3 times. Dave, was it? Can't remember now. Twice. Chris Campbell, lads I both know well, and I've been really bloody envious when I've seen them being driven down the fronts on the parade and on that top place of that podium. I thought, one day I would
There's
like
still
that.
time though, isn't
Yeah, you never know.
You can enter Tour of Mull Target Rally.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Not quite the same though, is it?
there? I don't know.
So,
We got a question.
Yeah, what's your most embarrassing moments then in motorsport? Starting with Clive.
I think I've told this story before at Clitheroe, so I do apologise to anyone who's heard it before. And I've touched on it briefly before. It was 1992 on the Ypres Rally with Nick Hutchinson. We were doing the shakedown stage, and we somehow ended up rolling the car into a ditch. And the ditches on Ypres, they're huge, and they're just like big V-shaped culverts. So we slid off the road, rolled, and ended up roof down in this big V-shaped culvert full of water. The windscreen didn't pop, it came out slightly. So the car filled up with water. We couldn't open the doors because the doors are up against the bankings. So we're in the car and it's full of water, and we're in no danger. There's nothing drama, but we're absolutely piss wet through. Eventually, there were thousands and thousands of spectators. They eventually rolled it onto the side, so we climbed out and we stood on the banking, and it was a bit claustrophobic really, because there's hundreds and hundreds of spectators there. Me and Nick in these drenched through race suits, and I'm thinking I need a bit of space here. So I said to Nick, I said, cross after the next car, cross the road, up the banking, into that field. We'll just work out what we're going to do, because we'd no mobile. It was before mobile phones, anything like that. So the next car went past. I legged it across the road, jumped up the banking, grabbed hold of this fence, which turned out to be an electric fence, and I'm pissed wet through. And all I could hear was this roar of about 200 people behind me. I looked round and Nick, the driver, stood there going,
it?
So yeah, that's probably my most embarrassing moment.
Can't top that one, mate. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Mine would probably be, we did Imber Stages, going back to probably about 95 or something like that. And it was when they were doing the Newbury bypass. And we stayed in Stockbridge. Anybody who's been to Stockbridge, basically it's just one road and there's about 6 pubs in it. And we were in a B&B or a hotel at the bottom. B&B, I think it was, at the bottom of this, the main drag through. And I had a co-driver then called Adrian Gladwin, Southerner. And he was a bit of a mamby-pamby lad, he couldn't drink at all. So we decided this night we were going to get him absolutely shit-faced. And so we went down to Stockbridge, like I say, and we went down every pub, and he was drinking his gin and tonic, and we were lacing his drinks, and he got absolutely hammered, and so did I actually. So we got him. Like I say, he went back to his place where he was staying somewhere else. We all went back to the hotel. Like I say, we were absolutely hammered as well. Got up the following morning, the rally car's outside, and right. Let's go to scrutineering, so to speak. Scrutineering, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's scrutineering we were going to. And got in the car, jumped in the car, pissed out my head. Shouldn't do that, of course, now. Well, shouldn't have done it then, really. But and tried to start the car wouldn't start. What the hell's wrong with this? So, under the bonnet, having a look, sort of half-heartedly like you do. Couldn't get it started. Right, we'll tow it. So we got the van and we're up and down this main street of Stockbridge and it would not start. Couldn't work out why it wouldn't start. No, like I said, there weren't crowds of people, this was just between us all. This was the most embarrassing thing for me. Eventually I said, you get in the bloody thing, see if you can start it. I'll sit in van. So I sat in van and we're going up and down this fucking main street. I must have gone up there about 4 or 5 times. And then I looked on the dashboard and I went, perhaps this is why it won't start. HT lead. From the coil pack to, like I say, to the distributor. And like I said, we were so pissed that we hadn't even realised that we'd taken it off. And like I said, it was just one of them. But yeah, the boys never let me forget it. Talking of letting somebody never forget something, Clive,
What?
10 minutes.
Oh.
Clive's very good on timing.
You think with all the years of clerking the tour of Mull and working timings out to the last minute and trying to get everything right. First time I co-drove for John on Mull, it was the first afternoon service. It's not really a funny story, this, but these lot find it amusing.
We'll never let you forget it, do we?
No, I get ragged about it every time I see him. It was a 20-minute service, and after about 8 minutes, I decided it was time to go. We'd got about 12 minutes left. So I'd somehow mistook the 10-minute service, the 20-minute service for a 10-minute service, and that's stuck with me for the last 3 years with John's team. And
every time we come to, like I say, we come to leave the service area, how long we got, Clive? We've got 10 minutes.
yeah.
So yeah, it's...
we're better off being 10 minutes early than 10 minutes late.
True.
Not booked in 10 minutes early. But yeah.
So, well, we can't leave tonight without discussing a certain little rotund Manxman.
Oh right, yeah.
So
Yeah.
how the hell did you end up with Rob Fag navigating?
Chris, this is our interview.
That's fine, I don't mind. I'd say it to him if he was here.
I don't know really. I was short of a co-driver for the Isle of Man.
Very short.
You stumped for something.
And I don't know. In fact, our first rally together was Mull, 2007, I think, or 2006. So I don't really know. I don't know how it came about really, but he's a good co-driver. He's a good co-driver.
Right.
So it's only because he's only saying it because it's on film.
Yeah, you're right.
Just in case.
No, we had some good results. And he's I say he's really, really good in the car. There's no doubt about that. What more do you want to say?
There's nothing more to say.
Switch the camera off.
I don't remember him called that before you.
Bloody hell, he's done a few.
Yeah.
Well, he's done a few, but no, I didn't remember him called Joe driving the jump.
3 or 4 he's done. Something like that.
What for you, John?
Yeah.
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 We're that far down, we don't see that, I hope.
Yeah. You were into the best lights out
Yeah,
there.
First year I did it with Rob, I think we finished 2nd. So,
That would be one of those years.
one of those years. Yeah.
It's easy. So who's your best co-driver, John?
Here we go. I've been told it's going to be a certain lad from Yorkshire, if he's watching on this, but it wasn't.
You know to them.
He's my best co-driver. Probably the most disciplined was my brother. Tony's really good in the car. He makes you think about nothing else other than driving the car. He takes all that burden away of anything that's going on around you, and he can control a lot of people.
But haven't your better results come without him in the car?
Yes. Yeah, to be fair, yes, there are, like I said, I've had better results with him out the car, but he's probably, like, whether it's because we're brothers, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't it? Whether it's because he's my brother, I don't know, but he's definitely the most disciplined, and he can do the job standing on his head.
You have to repair that.
Thought that one. It won't work though. So yeah, probably Tony.
How do you find it with your daughter co-driving for you?
Brilliant. I'd love to do more with her. Nothing phases, you'll know, nothing phases kids. I got my daughter in the car when she was 14. All we've done is single venues together. So to get your daughter or your son sat with you is probably one of the most rewarding things you can do. My wife's petrified, but at the same time, from my point of view, nothing. Well, I say nothing, but it's a proud moment when they sit with you and they can do the job, and they don't. You're sort of mollycoddling them. You know, what about this? What about that? And she'll just turn around and say, "Dad, just leave me alone. I know what I'm doing." Just nothing phases them. That's what gets me about. You know, it'll be the same with all kids, but nothing phases them. And I do like that, and I wish I could do more with her. I wanted to progress to doing pace notes with her, but she's at university now, so we've got to be realistic about things and stuff. So, but I'd like to do more. My son shows an interest. He talks the talk, but I don't think he walks the walk. At the end of it, he keeps saying he wants to come and sit with me and what have you, but he's got his mountain bike or his football or whatever. He's you know, he enjoys that. So I don't push it. I've never pushed it on the kids. So
That's good to see. Future rally.
I'd have to sat in the car again tomorrow. But like I say, you can't just get him into doing a pace note event. She sat with me, and she sat with Phil Merrills, and she's. I think that's all she's actually. I don't think she only sat with Phil. But again, it's one of these where you don't want your son or daughter sat with anybody. You pick and choose the people that you want us to sit with because you don't.
And you trusted Phil?
Steady Eddie's Phil, he's all right.
Is it good lad, Phil?
So yeah, I'd like I say, I'd love to do more with her, and I'd love to do pace note event. I wanted to do more with her, but it's never fallen right because it's the beginning of GCSEs or it's the beginning of university, or so it never falls right. Whether I'm still rallying when she's finished it all and whether it fits in. If it does, I will, without a shadow of a doubt. I love it.
You alluded earlier about going to roll a lot.
once or twice before?
Tends to be.
I can answer that for it. He's tried everything. He's tried locals. He's tried. Well, maybe not quite as far as I went, but
I tended to go up as a family in the Springbank week. So I'd only go. I say only. I go once. I go for the rally and I go to Springbank week. And there were occasions in the early years when I go up in August as well. But I'd only go, like a lot of people, would only go for a long weekend or whatever. But latterly, the Springbank week has become more of a holiday, and I don't go up in August anymore. So I tend to put 400 mile into a recce. I'll do every stage 2 or 3 times. Whether that's because it's complacency or I don't know. You just feel that it becomes a bit of a fruitless exercise to a certain degree, because you know the roads that well. I can read pace note. I can read the pace notes even though he's not reading them. So I know what the next note is, and I can even think now on Mull, not everywhere, but I can picture the road coming towards me while I'm going in the opposite direction. But I can't read the notes coming opposite way, but I know the terrain of the road coming towards me. So I know it, very, very well. But I don't think there are places that they reckon that you can cut on Mull, and I'm damned if I would ever do it. I always stick to tarmac. There are ways of obviously getting more speed out of the car, and
Chris tried that down the Glen, what happened to him?
I was fastest through that corner. Just
Just
keep
get
on
to the next
road.
one.
I think I found it, didn't I? It's a bad bend that in both directions.
No,
isn't it?
no,
All different years.
No.
The Glen's
We
the
climbed. We got out the car. I climbed back up the banking, and I heard this voice coming down the road. Are you all right, Bill? What are you doing? And it was Bill Honeywell. Oh, there's always somebody goes off here. Oh, thanks. You could have told me.
So yeah, I've put the mileage in over the years. Like I say, when you've done it for so long, you get to know the island. Don't get me wrong, there are still bits where you've got to listen to your notes because one bit looks like the next bit looks like the next bit. But there aren't many places like that for me anymore. Danny will tell you, he's same and all.
Do you not
No.
Still got to listen.
Do you
Don't
not
listen everywhere.
Do you not still find though that every year you find another bit that's like it's never been a problem before, but oh bloody hell!
I don't drive fast enough, told you. Don't crash the car.
That's if you fell asleep on Brekkie Chris.
There's I go over. I watch the DVD. Even like I say, even now, I'll watch the DVD of previous years' my in cars, and I'll study my in cars and looking at sections of where you think you can carry more speed through certain sections. And there are, like I say, even now, it's getting faster and faster and faster. Again, Danny will tell you, it's getting, it's so fast these days that you've got to be looking at every opportunity to be able to eke a little bit more out of the stage, eke a bit more. And we all have our favourite stages. My favourite stage is the Locks, and I've held the record over there 3 times, 4 times, and each time an island has taken it off me. But I say you end up studying your DVDs just to be able to sort of say, well, if I carry a bit more speed through there, then I'll be 2-3 mile an hour faster on the next bit.
I think one of the things with Mullins is that you won't be going a lot. That's what I find. Is going doing other events and making your notes for that other event, the stages you've never done before, then you can bring that back to Mull to look at the stage in a different way. And that's what I've done over the last few years.
The only thing that I haven't done which we said we were going to do, is to rewrite our notes completely from scratch. Whether that would improve us or not, I really don't know.
You get a good result on notes, and we've all done it. And you think, well, those notes are right, I've got a good result on it. That's 2002. These notes are actually one of these. It's so far
You notes do change over the years, don't they? You know, your terminology changes, your way that you approach corners is different, and as a consequence, like I say, your notes will change. But like I say, to me, there's no better way than to study your own DVD to be able to sort of think, right, okay, well, we can change this note, we can do this, we can do that.
Because even on World Rally, they change them on the rally, don't they?
Yeah.
They quite often say change that one.
I think obviously the subtle difference is there is that they don't get the same amount of seat time as what we do they? You know, they're only getting two passes. I don't know, Dave, is that right? 2 passes or 3? It might. I don't know whether it's 3. 2 is it? 2 passes, and then like I say, you're into a stage. So like I say, you're bound to come across something that you're going to change your notes somewhere. Bound to.
John, have you ever come across a note that you actually look at it and it's actually wrong, but you know the band that well, but you just never bother changing it somehow?
Yeah.
I know it sounds bad, but you go, you've always called it a 3.
Yeah, you always call it a 3, so it's a 3.
It's not really a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some of my, if you read my notes, some of the notes, especially across the locks, and perhaps that's why we are quicker on the locks, I don't know, but when you look at my notes across the locks, there are some bends that you might call a 6, and I've got them down as like a 3. Because you know that they are a true pace note. They're giving you, like I said, they're giving you pace. They're not just a road note. But I don't think that works everywhere on Mull.
But it's interesting, John, that I mean you guys have done Mull a lot, and to me it almost becomes like a TV screen in front of you, because you as you say, you get to know the road, and you know what's around the next bend. So the pace notes, does that improve it? You know, your mind is set. You know what the bend looks like. So your notes
Well, I said
give you the confidence.
For me, I always there are places on Mull where one bit looks like another bit. So I say before, you have to listen to your notes anyway. You know, if you don't listen to your notes and you go across the locks at the speed that we're doing, and you'll have an accident. Like anywhere on Mull, you'll have an accident. You've got to listen. Definitely. So whilst you know the road, if you don't listen, you might just think that 6 is actually a 4. And for me, obviously that 4 means that you'll be.
But you guys are looking for
That little bit.
small margin.
Yeah, a small margin.
Those speeds.
John, have you ever been over to the dark side?
Mitsubishi.
Gravel rally.
Thought you meant Mitsubishi, then that is the dark side, isn't it?
Yeah. The first year that John turned up on Mull, he did set off over the ramp with 3 diamonds on the front of his Subaru. Because some miserable bastard wound him up.
Yeah, that'll have been you then. I've only ventured into the forest twice. I did the York National and did Mull when it
was that the year that Mr. Tunney wiped out the lump?
No idea. Don't know. I had my Mark II then. It was a long time ago.
Oh, that was.
And to me, there's too many of them upright things that you can hit at high
The
speed.
tractors of Land Rover is that funny.
What's spectators?
Yeah. It frightened me shitless. To be fair, I couldn't see how people could carry so much speed down a gravel track, keep it in a straight line without hitting them trees. So I stuck to what I knew. Like I said, from a road rally background. You what?
You never been out with a farmer's daughter, have you?
It's funny where you can break down in it. So, like I say, York National and Turrimal, when they ran the gravel stage on Turrimal, I was on 12 miles, having said that, and that was enough for me. I went off in the forest then. That was the first year I did the Turrimal.
You don't like gravel, do you? You had a bit of an accident for mulling gravel, didn't you?
Might have done. Wasn't my fault though, was it? Somebody brushed it on there. So no, gravel and rolling ain't my thing.
Have you ever done any other forms of motorsport, like auto testing or road trialing?
No.
You've literally just done road rally, e-stage rally,
Yeah.
and not much in the forest.
That's it. That's me. Like I said, I've done no auto tests. I don't have the memory for auto tests. Not done any hill climbing. I've watched hill climbing. That's as far as I've gone. I think, to me, especially in the early days, it was all encompassing. It was just, that's all I wanted to do. I want to go and do the next rally, the next rally, the next rally. And everything else got put by the wayside. And I think over the years, like I say, because you become comfortable with that, and whilst you want to go and do something different, you want to do different events rather than different disciplines. Not done any circuit racing. Just doesn't interest me particularly. So, no, rally is where it's at.
If you don't want to do circuit racing, why do you keep going back to Anglesey?
Anglesey is a good day out. It's
Sorry,
the one. No, it's all right. No, right.
Right.
Anglesey's. Like I say, I enjoy Anglesey for the fact that it's running June. Well, the one I go to is running July. So 9 times out of 10, it's decent weather. We either get a pit garage or we camp. So we make a weekend of it, and it's just a really good social thing. And the rally, to a certain degree, is a bit incidental. It's just a good laugh. And so I've done Enfield stages for about the last 6 years or so.
A bit like Muldoon, John.
Yeah. So
Are you interested in the technical side of the car? Or are you purely driving?
no, I'm an engineer by trade. I used to own my own garage business, so I am mechanically minded. I don't do a lot on the car myself now. I'm fortunate in respect to that. I've got somebody who looks after the car for me. But like I say, if the car breaks, I know what to look for, and how to effect a repair. Yeah, like I say, I can do most things, but it's obviously the likes of the Subaru and Danny's Mini and stuff like that. They're so technologically advanced that a lot of the time it's something electronic, which a 10p piece part will put you out of the rally, and you won't be able to trace it. So,
what do you think the future holds for not just you after France, going back to Mull, but Mull in general?
Mull in general,
Yeah.
I think so long as Mull can, or the organisers for Mull can keep the momentum there to be able to change the legislation, I think there's more than a good chance of it running again. If that stalls at all, I think Mull's dead. Purely because, like I said, they need to keep that momentum there. I think there is a great understanding from the Scottish Parliament that of how much money it attracts to the island, and that how reliant they are upon that income. So I think everybody's proactive in that respect. But ultimately, like I say, if the wheels slow down, I think it could be dead. The momentum's got to keep going. Otherwise, the rally will die. Yeah, because it's formed a lot, a huge part of my life. Like I say, going up there 2-3 times a year. Had some really good times up there. Stuff that lots of memories up there. So yeah, I won't be sad.
It's stuff that the future rally will never get to see as well, isn't it?
Well, this is it, yeah. Like I say, whether if that does stall and English closed road rallying does come to the fore, then perhaps the blow will be slightly less. But it's the momentum's got to stay. If the momentum is there to be able to, and everybody's proactive about getting the rally run again, then the rally will run. So
I've got one for you. You were going on about, obviously you don't want to smash your car up.
mm-hmm.
Do you ever think about, I don't know, obviously not as high a spec, but buying like another Subaru, like a cheaper one, and having a go, you know, without worrying about how much you're going to weigh?
I have thought about maybe hiring another car, and the money that obviously that it costs to run mine, instead of doing that, go and do something else and, like I say, hire a car. Yes, I have thought about it, but it's dead money for a start. Yes, I could. In many respects, you could say yes, I'll buy another car, but then you've got obviously the on cost of running two cars, and I think, well, I can't justify it. I really can't justify it.
But you did have a time of running two cars, didn't you?
Yeah, but it was a Peugeot 106, and I did.
Sorry, his car's a 106
Is it?
as well.
And I did one rally in it.
And that was enough.
And that was for my daughter. Basically, that was for my daughter. That was the whole idea, is to be able to drag the kids into the sport. And no, it wasn't. No,
You didn't need to drag him into the sport at all. Amy wanted to navigate for you.
But again, I
couldn't
justify the cost. Even a 106, I couldn't justify the cost. I just thought to myself all the time. I kept thinking to myself, I can buy 2 more tyres. I can go and do this. I can go and do that. I can go and do another rally. So it just became a noose around my neck to a certain degree. And within the space of 8 months, we bought it, prepped it, got it ready for stage rallying. Our kid did a rally in it with his daughter. I did a run rally in it, and like I say, then it's got sold. Went to Scotland. So I think ultimately, I much prefer the buzz that I get out of my car and do in effect do more events than what it would be to get another car. And
I mean, you can only imagine like trying to justify the cost of 2 or 3 cars on the road, never mind going and
well,
thinking about
you've got, like I say, you've got insurance costs, you've got road tax. Oh, you know what it's like. It's
You do get to an age though where you don't really want to crash because it hurts.
Tell me about it.
I don't think about it'll hurt. I just think about it monetarily.
Yeah, in the wallet, nothing else.
Going back to what you said earlier, when you got an Escort Cosworth,
Yeah.
and you said it weren't up to it, like in terms of what?
The Escort Cosworth was always a road car that was derived into a rally car. So as a consequence, the drivetrain in it wasn't man enough. So you were constantly upgrading everything. You'd upgrade the brakes, and you'd have to upgrade the transmission. You have to put different drive shafts on it. You'd have to upgrade the front diff. You'd have to, and it was every time you did something else would break, because it was, like I say, it was a road derived, it's a road derived rally car. Whereas the Subaru or Danny's Mini or what, that's
or
what
the Mitsubishi.
No, I think you found that broke now. They're like I said, they're purpose built, and that's the difference.
You don't understand it until you've been in one, do you really? It's really difficult.
It is difficult to explain.
I spent 10, 12 years developing a car, and in the end I had to give it up because you just couldn't pick any further. Just getting so much money to develop it. Then you go and get in something that's already been developed, that's millions of pounds per behind it, hundreds of millions of pounds. Getting it, you just think, what have I been doing for the last 10 months? That's the difference, and that's what happens. You can't do it.
I think given the brief that you had and did, you managed to extract the best that you could ever do out of that car.
We did, but we put a lot of money into it, a lot of time, a lot of resources into it, you know, and had a lot of fun in it, but you get to that next level.
It's not until you get into that next level that you realise.
You don't understand it,
No,
and it's really, you can't explain it very well. Like I spoke to you before I bought, you know, and asked you about mine, and I spoke to you afterwards, and, you know, but this is one of the few people I know that could understand where I was coming from.
The thing that you find with world cars is everybody thinks that a world car, you get a world car and you should be able to win rallies as soon as you get in it. The thing about world cars is you can drive a world car at 80-90% very, very easily, but to extract that last 10% you have to really, really drive it hard, and it's only that last 10% where you stand a chance of winning a rally. And like I say, and because they're built to a, you know, like I said, they are a rally car. They have been designed as a rally car. It might be a Subaru shell, it might be a mini shell, whatever. It's immaterial. At the end of the day, the mechanics that are under it are purely for rallying. So that's where you get your reliability from, and that's where ultimately you'll get your speed from.
Well, I'm sure we could go on all night, but it is 10 to 11. I'd like to thank both John and Clive. I've known both of you for quite a long while. We've had a lot of good times, and I hope we'll have a lot more. Would you thank them in the usual manner?